If you're trying to build a website that's really awesome and free and using R in RStudio, you're in the right place. In this video, I take a live video that I did showing you how to do this and condense it down to about 25 minutes. Now using R, RStudio, Github, and Netlify, we create a continuous integration, continuous deployment website from scratch. And in this video, I show you how to do that. So there's going to be some frustrations along the ways, and I expect you in the community to help each other out. So comment below, make sure that you guys state your problems or show the sites that you build so that I can see them, but also comment your problems and join the Discord and maybe we can help you solve those. So stay tuned. This is a 25-minute tutorial on how to create a blog website from absolute scratch using nothing but RStudio and free services. I expect you to have at least R installed already and then RStudio. You know, the scope of this is going to be creating a R project that's going to have the Blogdown package installed with Hugo as a theme, and we're going to push that to GitHub, and we are going to have Netlify pull from GitHub as GitHub changes and actually host the site live where anybody can go to it. All right, here we go. Blogdown. So we started this with Blogdown book by Hugo Themes, and it's a really excellent book. It's a quick read. You can follow this and probably get to the same point. So that's where I began. Let's start with GitHub because we're going to skip a lot of the fluff and just get right to it. So go to github.com. So github.com, if you haven't signed up, it's real simple. You would just put in a username, email, and password. And sign up. You'll probably be able to sign up with like LinkedIn or something else maybe, and it'll be a quick process. But note that this username will probably be like your resume, so try to not make it ridiculous sounding or hard to get to. If you're actually trying to get a data science job or a programming job or anything, and they can't get to your GitHub account because it's a weird spelling or it's got too many weird stuff in there, not good. So just try to make it as professional as possible. Take note of your username and the email address you use for this process because you'll need it again later. All right, I signed in and you should get a sort of something like this that pops up. You know, it might be a slightly different home screen. It could be, yeah, so this is my home screen apparently. What you notice is that up here on the left-hand side, I have this new button, so new repository. I want to be able to place all of my code from R and RStudio to this repository. So click on New, and we're going to create a project. Notice my owner is called MT Gingrass. That's the name that I used for my GitHub. It's my GitHub username. I'm going to call this Cradle to Grave R. Everybody should probably kind of know what that means now. End-to-end process. I like the end-to-end. So Cradle to Grave, show me everything. All right, there we go. We have my username and my repository name. Now that's important, but I'll show you why in a second. All right, so the free version, you have to have public. So if you have errors or mistakes and you don't want them to be shown or you want to practice something, you know, it's all public. If you do private, you have to pay for that service, which by all means go for it if you want to. Initialize this repository with a README. If you ever see anybody's GitHub account, they all have a README and it kind of describes, all right, here's how you can possibly, you know, clone my... not really how to clone it, but what is my project all about, right? So I'm going to create that repository very simply by clicking that button. And now you see I'm at a new site here, and over to the right I have this clone or download button. We're going to click on clone or download, and there's a URL here that's been created. I'm just going to copy that. So let's go back here. I have this site for people with Windows called Git for Windows. gitforwindows.org. You want to go to that site, or if you have a Mac, I haven't done this process with a Mac, but I'm sure it's very similar. The website is git-scm.com/download. You should be able to find it. It's just Git. There's various ways to install things in Mac that are through like the Homebrew or Brew, or versus other means, you know, just downloading the installers and whatnot, the DMG files, whatever they are. All right, so I have to do this because I actually uninstalled this. So let's do this, and I wanted to do that just to show you more of the process. So I have a fast machine and fast internet. So here we go. I will see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. All right, so here's the GNU General Public License Agreement. You should probably familiarize yourself with some of those because if you're dealing with software and programming, though that agreement is pretty common. All right, so I'm just going to install it in the installation directory that they recommend. It already exists. Would you like to install to that folder anyways? Sure. So I guess when I installed it, it probably kept my settings. You know how that works. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to override it. Now these are all defaulted. I'm not going to change any of those. And I am going to continue with this default setting. And now here, this would be the default editor used by Git. I'm not going to worry about that because we're going to be using RStudio and they're going to do most of the work for us. All right, now this is probably the most important setting that you want to make sure you select the correct option. Git from the command line and also from third-party software. Now third-party software meaning RStudio is going to do some of the work for us using Git as the backend. That's exactly what you want, okay? So that's the most important takeaway from downloading Git. I actually have to install it. I'm going to continue using the defaults. Continue. There's a lot of options here. A lot of chances to mess up, that's for sure. But as you can see, I have actually used the default for absolutely everything, and I just wanted you to focus on that one option that that was crucial. But of course, even that option was defaulted for me, so good to go. All right, so I'm not going to view the README notes. I just wanted to install it. And it doesn't ask me to restart my computer or anything, so hopefully you guys are in the same boat and you're fine. So Git has been installed. Now, I have my RStudio already open, right? That might be a problem. So let's close it out completely and reopen it. Because we installed Git, we want RStudio to recognize that it's been installed and it will automatically do some connections for us. So close that out completely. All right, so we've restarted it. And under this tab here, I have Git. You might not have that because you might not have a project open, but I wanted to show you that that's what we're going to be looking for is that Git. All right, new project, version control, Git, Control V, Cradle to Grave R, site test. I could have easily just put it into a different directory, but I didn't. Anyways, create project. Now, it's going to be an empty project with that README file because we started this process, remember, on GitHub. Before we did any code in anything, we literally went to GitHub, created a repository. We know where we're going to store this. All right, that's it. I've got nothing here. It's an empty project. There's nothing there, but you should have this Git tab. You should have that right now. Install a package. Click on Packages, which is right here. We're going to install, and we're going to install the Blogdown package. You also might need to install DevTools. So it could ask you to install DevTools, DEVTOOLS. I'm not going to do that right now, but you might have to. So let's try Blogdown. And I didn't uninstall these packages, so that's why I can't test to see if I needed DevTools or not. So my Blogdown, it says successfully unpacked and MD5 sum checked. If that's the case for you, good. If it asks you for DevTools, go ahead and install that and then install Blogdown. Now let's install the Hugo Themes. So Blogdown, : install Hugo. That's what we want to do. So everybody can see that, I hope. You install the Hugo and hit enter. And here is where it's going to make it so that we can use the Hugo theme set for building websites. Notice this version right here. That's going to come back later. I'll show you how to get that again anyways. But the latest Hugo version is 0.72.0. The entire thing matters. So there's that. Got that Hugo installed. We're good to go. The next step would be to actually create a site using Blogdown. But before we do that, let's check out a website here called Hugo Themes. So I'm going to show you this URL, themes.gohugo.io/tags/blog. I'm sure you can get to it either way. I just happened to click on blog. That's why it's there. You could do just themes.gohugo.io and you'll get here. I clicked on blog right here to get me to this page, and I'm going to choose, and I have not tested this one out yet. I just looked at it and I said, oh, that looks pretty simple to use. I'm going to choose this one here called M10C. Let's see if you can get it a little bit better. M10C. So click on that, And this is how it's going to work for all of your Hugo themes. So you can pick all of these different themes and it's just going to work, hopefully. So here we are. I've clicked on the theme of my choice. Now I want to click on Home Page. You can click on the demo and see what it's like first. In fact, let's do that real quick. So here's what it looks like. It's pretty basic. It looks like it's got, you can put a picture there, a little title, a couple of links to GitHub or Twitter. I'm sure there's actually options for Facebook and other things as well we'll figure out. But then you have your blog post here, and if you click on one, it's working. It's probably got some code. It's probably got some math in there somewhere. That's not important right now, but what's important is that you actually can find this on GitHub and that it's maintained, right? So every single theme is not treated equally. Look for when it's updated 2020 6/7. So it's probably actively being updated, which is great. That's good to know. All right, so we're going to go to homepage, like I said, and you can see now this is a GitHub site, just like the one you just created, except this one's got the actual theme here. What you want to take notice is the username and the theme name or the repository name. So we're gonna copy that. We're gonna copy that whole thing here. Control C or Command C, maybe if you can get it. Okay, so that's what we needed. So now we go back to our studio. Now we need to actually create a blog. Okay, so Blogdown, colon, and then we're gonna do new site, always difficult. Theme equals, right? And in quotes or single quotes, that's where we're gonna paste that guy's, the author of the site and the theme name. Whoa. So I did Control V on that and it added a couple extra spaces or indentations and return characters. So I deleted all that. So now we're down to just what we need. That should do it. We'll see. Let's double check by hitting enter and just see what we get. Argument 1 matches multiple formal arguments. New site. Oh, theme is spelled wrong. I did theme spelled incorrectly, and that was probably the problem. So it probably isn't that dash, and it's the / like I originally thought. All right, we're going to press enter on that, and hopefully you guys see what I just fixed, and it's starting to download what I need to download and create the site. So give it a few seconds. There we go. Here we go. Everything's looking good now, finally. All right, so we have a site here, and you can kind of mess with it in this viewer here. You can click on things. You can actually check the website too. So again, if you guys are all here, see that static or that IP address, it's http:// and then the IP address. You can Control C on that, open up your browser, and paste it in there if you want to test it out that way. Right? So here it is. This is local on my computer from R, the same exact site, and the links should work. Everything working good. You can click the back button to do that. I think template primer. I haven't checked all this stuff out, but working pretty good. So that's a good test run. I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to our studio. And what I want to mention to you is a couple of things. The site isn't built. This is all being basically run through our studio right now in order to generate that site IP address and to make it look like the site's built. It technically is not built and it would not work, right? So you need to build the site before it works. However, you can do that for sure and make it work locally on your computer. Right now, it only works locally on my computer through our studio. If I closed our studio and found the folders that it's created, it's not going to work correctly. So just know that when I go to the public folder, which is right here, don't mess with it right now because it'll haunt you. And probably never mess with public, honestly, because you want to build everything through RStudio, and when RStudio does its thing, it's going to build it and put all the files necessary in the public folder. Then let the public folder be used on the server that it's run, which will be Netlify for us. That being said, we are going to stop the server just in case it has anything to do with what we're doing. So I don't want it to interrupt anything we're doing. So I'm going to copy the serve R, Control C on that, and I'm going to paste it over here. So it's basically going to stop the server. And I've got that number 1 in there as the parameter that says, you know, kill, exit, right? And we did not build the site. Keep that on in your mind. All right, we stopped the server. So now if you go back to that actual IP address, it won't work, right? It's still here over here in our viewer, but it's not going to be hosted on the actual site right here. Okay, so now next step. We've got a site. We saw that it works. Now we didn't change anything. If you want to change something like, you know, hello R Markdown, feel free. Don't mess up too much until you kind of get used to it. But let me show you a couple things next. We've downloaded Git. We've created a Git repository. We've created a Blogdown site with a Hugo theme. We've shown that it works. We did not build it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stage everything that was created in this process to eventually commit to GitHub. So that's what we're doing next. All right, now one caveat. If you stage that public folder from RStudio, if you stage public, if you click on that little checkbox, you're probably going to crash your system. So I really hope nobody's done that yet, and just don't click it right now. You could try it out all you want on your own, but right now I'm not going to do it. What you can do, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stage everything. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to go to Tools, Shell, and in here, hopefully I can get you a little bit closer. Yeah, I could do that. And in here, you should see that you're already in that project directory. So that's the beauty of going through RStudio, is it puts you in the right directory. We want to do a couple of things. First thing, if you guys just downloaded Git, we have to set up your Git. So while we're here, let's do that. So before we do anything, we're going to do git space config space dash dash global space user.name space in quotes. Username is exactly what you set up in your Git pages, GitHub pages. GitHub. Those are all actually three different things, so I gotta be careful. So in your GitHub, whatever username you have, which mine was my name, basically, MT Gingrass. So set that up. That's important. Hit enter. Hit the up key to repeat that. Instead of username, we're gonna put in user email, and then we'll put in your actual email address here that you use for GitHub. So I'm gonna use the exact one. Boom, there we go. I'm gonna hit enter on that. And once you set that up, then we can do what I was about to do. And that is, you wanna add, I'm gonna stage everything. The reason why I'm doing it through the shell the first time is because when you stage a lot of files at once in RStudio, it sometimes crashes. So I'm gonna do it this way the first time. I'll show you again later that we're not gonna do this ever again, including the username and email. You won't need to do that again. All right, so first we're gonna do git space add space dash capital A. It's just gonna add everything. Probably not good practice for the long run, but for now, let's do that. And you can see it did a bunch of stuff, a bunch of warnings. The warnings have nothing to do with what we're doing, so I'm gonna X that out. All right, so they're all staged. They're all staged. Let's click on, oh geez, I don't need that up there either. Let's click on commit. And you'll see everything is still checked off here. We're gonna say first commit. This message is used so that when you do the version control, you can always go back and see when you committed something, what were the changes. So if you made like a change, you can kind of describe what you did so that you can always come back and version control it later. So I'm gonna click on commit. It's gonna do its thing. When you get this close button, you're good to go. And then finally you wanna push. So stage, commit, push. I'm pushing to GitHub now. That's the final answer, push. So that one might take a few seconds because the first time there's a lot of data that's never been in there. Remember, we started with an empty repository except for the README file. But anyways, the close button's available. I'm gonna click it, hit the X. Just to show you, I'll go to my GitHub account, and this is what it looked like before, Cradle to Grave R. I'm gonna refresh that. And now you see all those files here. Okay, so we've done that. We've done that. Now, the next step, this is just literally holding our stuff, our files for us. Now let's go to Netlify. So, new site, Netlify, www.netlify.com. And again, you have to sign up if you didn't already. It's free, and you'll probably be able to use your GitHub account to actually sign up with it. So please do that. and catch up with me after. I'm going to log in because I already have an account. Ooh, I think. I guess I'll click on GitHub. This should be a similar process and very simple for you guys as well. Once you sign up, so you've done the GitHub, you've already signed up and you sign up for this, you'll be able to connect to your GitHub. It's going to ask you for permissions probably the first time. It didn't ask me, but it probably asks you, do I have permission to look at your GitHub account? And the answer is yes, if you want to do this project. New site from Git, just like that. I'm going to click on it. And continuous deployment, Git, GitLab, or Bitbucket. I'm going to click on GitHub. This is how simple it is. And again, most of these steps are the one time only. Now every update you make will be simple. You're going to be able to update your blog every single day, no problem. It lists all of my projects. I wanted to have it host Cradle to Grave R, so I click on that. And there's some settings here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. These are important. All right, so I'm fine with the owner. I'm fine with branch to deploy. Down here in basic build settings, make sure you have the build command set as Hugo and the publish directory as public. So that public is basically where it's going to publish everything live, and it's the first go-to place. And then you want to click on Show Advanced. And when you do Show Advanced, you should get this new variable here. It's an environment variable. We need to set that up. We need to set up at least one variable. Click on New Variable, and we're going to type in capitals, Hugo version. All caps, it matters. And the value, that's at 0.72.0. And where do I get that from? Let's go back to RStudio real quick. And let's just type in Blogdown Hugo _ version right there. This is pretty important. So now it shows you 0.72.0. So let's type that in our little Netlify here, 0.72.0, and that lead in 0 does matter. Put that in. All right, so that's it. I'm going to deploy site and see what happens. It's not quite over yet. We're almost there. I mean, we're pretty much there right now, but I'm going to click on this right now so I can see what's going on. I didn't have to click on it, but I want to show you that it's deploying the site right now, doing all of these commands, and it's building our site for us. We didn't build it in RStudio. We didn't need to. We never need to. You can serve the site in RStudio so you can see if it's good, and if it's good, push it to Git, which Netlify will go check Git and see if anything's changed. If it's changed, it's going to update the site for you. Continuous integration, continuous deployment. That's how it's going to be set by default. It's going to check every X amount of minutes to see if anything's ever changed. You can also manually click the retry button or the deploy button. Finished process and build request in 34 seconds. I feel like it was even shorter than that. That's it, right? So now we can click on preview, or, yeah, let's click on preview. Ooh, that's not good. It did not work right. All right, so one thing that you want to do is check your domain settings as well. So let me go back to the overview tab here, and you see the domain settings. Click on domain settings, and you can create your own domain or subdomain, and click on options, edit site name, and now you can put a more user-friendly site name on there. So I will call this, I don't want to call it Cradle to Grave, or because I don't want to accidentally never be able to use that again. So I'll put a little 1 in there. So I'm going to hit save on that. And then that's our website. So cradletograver1.netlify.app. Click on that. Again, something's wrong with our links. To fix this problem, you have to go back to your RStudio. Now, I have a different set of code here, but anywhere in your config.toml, so find your config.toml file. As you can see up here, I have my config.toml file. On my line 1, and it doesn't have to be line 1, but I have a base URL parameter set, and mine is set to my domain name with that /, right? So that's why the links were not working. So let me go back to the site, and here's my actual website. Now this is a different theme than what you've been seeing throughout this video, but you can see that the site is working just fine with all the links. What you want to do is go to your Netlify settings, make sure that you go to your domain settings. And as you go down here, you'll have all these different domain names that you are using. The one that you set up in the previous, previously, where you can customize your domain, whether it's your own custom domain, like I have cradletograver.com, but most likely you have something like this, cradletograver1.netlify.app. So you want to copy this, or you can actually click on the link if you'd like and look at the site this way, and you can copy it this way, Control C there, right? So it's the same thing. So you can see that it also works when I clicked on that. But I'm on cradletograver.com as a pure domain name that I own. So go back to your cradletograver, and up in base URL, create this base URL equals, and then just type in or paste in your domain, which is probably the .app and /. You want to keep that / in there. And that's it. Once you do that, save it, stage it, commit it, and push it. Then your site will be live and all the links will work. Now that may seem like quite the process, but within 25 minutes, we've created websites using RStudio, pushing things to GitHub, using Netlify to deploy that, and you have basically a live site. Now it's not quite as dynamic as you might want because it's a static site, but there's things you can add in there like discuss or other types of connections you can make to make it a little bit more dynamic content. What I like to see is whatever themes you've created using this method and using RStudio, I'd like to see your comments in the links. Show me what kind of frustrations you've had because things change. Where I say add an environment variable, that button might have moved by the time you see this. So there's going to be frustrations, and I would encourage you all to help each other out to solve these problems. I have a Discord channel that I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow this channel, and we can all get together and help each other out because these types of settings will change. And this is honestly a pretty frustrating process for anybody doing it the first time. This is the second time I've ever done this process. Back in 2016 or so, or 17, I did it the first time. Again, thank you all for watching my channel and being part of it and trying to build this community up. I really appreciate your support, and I hope to see you on all of my next videos. Good luck on your site, and comment below. Comment below on the site that you have. I want to see your actual themes so I can steal it and use it myself.